your race, your pace. So that's the passion, a part of what I bring to our firm is to, just let people know we're here. We have a story too, and we want to help and be a part of your story. So.
Welcome to the Agent Growth Lab podcast, the show that's all about taking control of your success. If you're a realtor, financial planner, business owner, or anyone who's ready to grow your business, you're in the right place. Join your host, April Russell, each week as she jumps into the lab to find out what professionals are doing to master their success. So let's get started with this week's episode of Agent Growth Lab podcast.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Agent Growth Lab podcast. I'm your host, April Russell, and joining me today is Sherenia Branche of Branche Associates. Hi, Sherenia.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, I specifically asked Sherenia to be here simply because I love the way that she runs her real estate business. And I really feel like there are some things that she specifically does that will be beneficial to you and helpful to you. But first, Sherenia, I really just want you to introduce yourself to everyone and tell us how you got started in real estate.
Okay, thank you so much. So my name is Sherenia Branche. I am a licensed North Carolina realtor, but I'm also the owner of Branche Associates. And Branche Associates is a Christian-owned boutique real estate firm located in Henderson, North Carolina. We are a strong team of agents where our culture is helpers of one another. And of course, collaboration over competition. And that flows into our communities in which we live, work, and play. So we do that through the services that we provide, not only for transaction services, but also services and needs that are in our community. So I got started in real estate. Let's see. It started in my college days. Let me just say that. It started in college because, you want to graduate, you want to make a lot of money, you look on TV and you see, the fancy houses and things like that. And you're like, hey, I'm going to do that. I want to do that one day. But, it was just a thought at that time because when time to graduate, you got to get a job. So graduated, got a job. So that was like an afterthought, going into real estate. But it was something that I always still desired to do. I knew one day that I would own my own business and desired to do that. So it was put on the back burner because life changes happen. Got married in 2000 and forgive me if I forget, honey. I think 2001. Got married in 2001. We had our first child in 2003. So it was like, okay, real estate is just not going to happen because that's commission based. And for those that know, if you don't have a sale, you don't make money. And that was just not feasible, to do with having a young one. So, but it still rang in my heart, to be in the real estate industry. But time progressed on, and over the years, you see the market changes. I think when I began to think about real estate again, it was in 2007, 2008, which was probably not the greatest time, not the greatest time. And I said, this is scary. I'm not going to do this. And by that time, we had 2 children at the time, and it's like, nope, just forget it. This just not going to happen. But I still had that desire to go into real estate. And I'm like, what is this? Like, God, are you trying to tell me something? Like, why do I want to do this when I see the risks that are involved with real estate? But I didn't see a lot of business owners, and a lot of that financial things were not talked about, coming up. So I didn't feel like, I could do this, even though I had went to college and everything like that. And of course, I want to say, to be in real estate, you do not have to have a college degree. So I don't want anybody to ever think that. But I do have one, thank God. So I pondered upon it, and my husband was like, go. If it's on you that much, you need to go ahead and take the class. And I took the class, so excited. But let me tell you something, I did not pass the class. I did not pass it. I missed it by 2 points. So therefore, I could not sit for the state exam. I was crushed. And I was like, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done this. I should have just kept doing what I was doing, being comfortable. But needless to say, in 2015, seven years later, I went back and took the class again. I got up enough courage and everything to go back and do it again, pass the class, thank the Lord. And then I went, sat for the test. In 2016, I was licensed. So I already knew that once I was licensed and worked for a little bit, that I was going to establish my own firm. I already knew that. So I did work with a franchise firm for quite a few years, and then branched out into my own. Not to say it was easy, because I was scared, but I still felt like there was something greater. There's more than just you working with this firm or what have you. There's something else, that you have to do. And I was like, what else is it that I have to do? But I see it unfolding before me all the time, what it is that I have to do in this vehicle of real estate that God has blessed me with. And we have met so many wonderful people and touched so many lives, and so many have touched my life as well. So I'm just really, really grateful for that. But it is my passion to see those that are interested in purchasing a home or land or whatever it is, that they reach those goals. Because it was a goal for my husband and I as well. And I tell people all the time, when they come, there are no judgments, when you come into our office, because we have a story too. And a lot of times we don't like to share our story. But when my husband and I had decided to buy a home, we couldn't buy a yes if we wanted to, because our credit was like jacked up, and we had these little kids, and we was putting money here and there. It's like, what in the world? Things got taken, and we just went through so much, and it was very disheartening and discouraging, and it was very what's the feeling of shame. And I was like, I don't ever want to have to go through this. I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. And if there are people that have been through this, I want to be a support and a help to them, and let them know it's okay. Life happens, get up. Let's brush these things off. Let's tackle them one at a time. And you too can achieve your goals. It may not be as fast as somebody else's, but you can. And I hear one of my sisters in Christ, she always say, your race, your pace. So that's the passion, a part of what I bring to our firm, is to, just let people know we're here. We have a story too, and we want to help and be a part of your story. So sorry it took so long, but
no, absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that, because people connect better with you with a story. Mm-hmm. And they want to know that you're not just throwing information at them, but it's actually things that you have lived and have experienced yourself. That reminds me, if I'm speaking with a client who might be, looking at VA or something to that extent. Well, I've personally used a VA loan 3 times. I can talk from my own personal experience in that. So I think that's really important to share stories. But you touched on so many things that I really want to really dig into.
Okay.
Because again, something I love about you, and I want to go back because I just want to highlight, Sherenia is in Henderson, North Carolina, which is a small rural town north of the Triangle area. And I want to point this out because most people would figure or assume or think, oh, you can't thrive in a small town. Mm-hmm. And you absolutely can. And you have done that. And what I like to say, and I know you don't own Henderson, North Carolina, but in my mind, you do.
Oh, Lord.
Just because you have positioned yourself in such a way, if anyone thinks real estate or about buying a home there in that area or the surrounding counties, they think of you. So talk about what you have done to make yourself the queen of Henderson.
So, well, to God be the glory, first and foremost. I don't know. I'm trying to get it into words, but what I have done, to me, is just caring. I don't have time to share our story over here today, but just genuinely caring about people. My background, I worked in human services and social work. Mm-hmm. So of course, I felt like I had to connect people to resources, connect people together, be a support and things of that nature. And I felt like that spilled over into real estate, because you're still partnering and connecting with people. And it's just treating people the way that I guess in a sense you want to be treated, being respectful, doing what you say you're going to do, be authentic. That's probably one of the main things, is just being authentic. And I think that flows over into, things that I do, whether it's in the community or wherever I am. It's just being myself. On social media, if you see me, in public, preferably, having a great day. I know we have some up days and down days, but that I just be the same person all the time, and just showing that love to people. And just some things that we've done in our community, we hosted monthly home buyer events. Whether one person get up there, 10 people get up there, it doesn't matter. If we can encourage someone, inspire someone to move forward with their goals, and that's what we're going to do. And sometimes it may not always be real estate related. I'll say this, it just may be somebody that just need encouragement in life, that decided to get on those calls. We are open to that, to providing that for them. So I'm just really thankful, to God, to be open to that. And then not only that, we partnered with the city. The city allowed us to have a grab the key event here, to just encourage people and let them know that there are resources available to them if they desire to buy. We hosted a North Carolina Housing Finance Agency event here in our community. Our pillars are faith, family, and community. So everything that we do is going to be centered around that. And I have a personal heart, because I am an entrepreneur. I have a heart for small businesses. I don't know everything, but I do know that a word of mouth, a positive review, or something will encourage that business to keep on going another day. Because sometimes it gets hard in these entrepreneur streets, but,
Yeah.
and I feel that, and I want to share that, because a lot of times I may do a post shouting out a local business, and my hashtag is loving on local. We have to be able to nurture where we live, work, and play. And like you said, it's a small rural area, so a lot of people don't have a positive connotation about it anyway. But it's my responsibility, because I live, work, and play here, is to present it in a positive light and to nurture the environment that I'm in.
Right, absolutely. It's almost like you present it in a way as if it's your civic duty to do that. But like you said, it's important because that's where you live also.
Right.
So you want your community and what's happening around you to thrive because you're there. And of course, if you can help a small business thrive, you thrive. If you help a home buyer to thrive, you thrive as well. So I think that's really important. So talk to me a little bit about what you do, because I know you have a referral based business, which is so important because again, you own Henderson. But anyway, you have a great following and a referral based business. So how do you nurture those relationships? Like, let's just say, for example, I just closed on a home with you last week. What are you doing that even the next time that I think about buying, or if my sister or cousin or a coworker or a neighbor or anyone said they wanted to buy, what is it that you're doing, I guess, with me, or how are you keeping in touch with me that you're at the forefront of my mind?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm not 100%, on follow up, on follow up.
And so
I just
you're
be
doing something
authentic,
right, I'm telling you.
just be authentic
Everybody
and
knows you
real.
in Henderson. You're doing something right.
But it's
Yeah.
just staying connected to people in some way. It may not always be an email marketing drip campaign. It may not always be sending them a birthday card, in the mail or what have you. But any way that I can try to connect, I connect with them. If it's on social media, or if it's out at a basketball game or a community event, just go and connect with them. How you doing? Take a few moments. How's things going? Oh, I saw you had a birthday last week, but happy birthday in person. Just little things like that, just kind of, I feel like, oh, that's awesome. Because I have people that they'll comment and things like that. And then out in the community, they'll talk to me as well. And I'm like, oh yeah, I saw you on Facebook. And it's like, oh wow, we're Facebook friends now, we're real friends in real life. So it's just connecting with people, and that's what I've done. Of course, I do try to reach out to clients, and just to see how they're doing. And if I don't necessarily get a chance right after closing, always making that connection and keeping that connection and letting them know I'm still here, I'm still available. I think a lot of times with agents, we just have to make sure that we find a way to connect, because social media, that's a good way to connect if your audience is there, if your clients is there, creating a group for just your clients. That way you can touch them all at one time and you don't have to put in a lot of money. But it's just different ways. It's just making the connection. That's the main thing. Once you make the connection and people really understand that they're genuine, they really care, not just a transaction to them, then I believe that the business will come.
Right, absolutely. And you mentioned that word connect and connection several times, but it's so important because even, with social media, and like you said, seeing someone out in the community, people automatically feel like they know you just from Facebook or,
Right.
or whatever social media platform you're using, but people will feel like that they know you. And I think it's so important. And what I admire about you, Sherenia, is that you do put yourself out there. You post words of encouragement to people. You let us know what's going on in your business. Hey, you're at a showing. Hey, this house is under contract. Like it's almost like we're going along with you in your day with what's happening with you. And that's how people are able to connect to you, because it's like you're making us a part of your life.
Yes.
And even with your involvement in your community and your family. And I know you mentioned the basketball game. You have children that play sports. So you're running here, running over there,
Yes, Lord.
all over the place. You and your husband, taking the kids back and forth. But also it's still community because you're still connecting. You're seeing people at the basketball games or at the practices or when you're out in the grocery store. And I think that's something that I think a lot of people take for granted, and especially those in real estate. And like I said, I don't want anybody to sleep on, or what I say, sleep on a smaller area, because I think people will look at, these big metro areas, and yes, they're wonderful. And yes, you may have listings in those areas. And of course you can work outside of just Henderson. However, you have been able to really thrive right there. It's like focusing in on, this is where I am, this is where I'll be, and I'm gonna work it, right? It works if you work it,
That's right. And that's what I encourage people to do. Start with where you are. I think a lot of times we try to go way out here and way out there, but you got to nurture where you are. And once you begin to do that and make the connections and, thrive where you are, that it's going to happen. It's just going to happen. And of course, I do service areas outside of Henderson. It's not just Henderson. I go all out to the lake and Lake Gaston and a little bit of everywhere. But, I'm thankful, and I focus on a lot of things. I do focus on Vance County and the surrounding counties.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sherenia, I appreciate you so much for joining us today, for encouraging us, for telling us to focus in on where we are, telling us to make sure that we're genuine and that we're truly connecting with people. So again, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And please, before we go, let everyone know how they can reach you and how they can contact you.
Sure. If you are an agent in the industry and you just want to pick my brain, I guess, you can reach me directly at my number at 252-430-4045. Or even if you are a potential client or a client and you would like to reach out, feel free to reach out to that number as well. I'll be more than happy to talk with you. And for our business address, we're located at 105 North Garnett Street, downtown Henderson, North Carolina. You can always visit our website at www.brancheassociates.com.
Thank you so much, Sherenia. Thank you all again for joining the Agent Growth Lab podcast. For more information about this episode and past or previous episodes and future episodes, you can go to agentgrowthlabpodcast.com. I am your host, April Russell. And again, thank you for joining us today. Have a good one.
That's a wrap on today's episode of the Agent Growth Lab podcast. Huge thanks to our insightful guest and to you, our dedicated listeners. If you're committed to growing your business and achieving your full potential, don't forget to subscribe and check out all the episodes at www.agentgrowthlabpodcast.com. Thanks for joining your host, April Russell. We will see you next week in the lab for another dose of inspiration and actionable advice.